In For Honor, the samurai hail from a distant empire lost to the sea and fire. Though driven from their home, they remain committed to tradition and possess superior martial skill. In-game, the samurai are swift, lightly armored, and deadly at long range. Here are several fundamental tips and tricks for the Kensei, Orochi, and Nobushi. What the Kensei lacks in speed and agility, he more than makes up for in offensive potential and range. Chaining a light attack onto the end of a forward dash will result in a quick strike called the Helm Splitter. This attack can be used to harass enemies from a distance and apply continuous pressure while deciphering your opponent's playstyle. The brunt of the Kensei's offensive capabilities come from his unblockable chain finisher, which can be executed simply by ending any 3-strike combo with a top-heavy attack. If your opponent is consistently blocking, open up with a guard break and combo into another guard break to temporarily stun and disorient their vision. And add an unblockable finisher just for good measure. If they're demonstrating more of an offensive playstyle, the finisher can also be chained onto a parry followed up by a single attack of any kind. The Orochi is perhaps the fastest hero in For Honor, and along with his fast but fragile playstyle comes a high skill cap. Unlike heavier heroes, the Orochi cannot permanently block in a single direction. Instead, he must time his block to match an opponent's strike. Perfect timing will result in a deflection, and following up on this deflection with a light or heavy attack will execute a devastating riposte. In spite of his modest sword size, the Orochi is dangerous even at a distance thanks to his Storm Rush ability. This attack can be executed by dodging backwards and holding the heavy attack button. Follow up with a light top attack to land a guaranteed 2-hit combo. Finally, the Orochi's deadliest tool comes in the form of a Zephyr Slash, which is achieved simply by dodging either left or right and hitting the light attack button. The Nobushi possesses a lethal trio of range, speed, and bleed effects. Some of her attacks deal increased damage against bleeding targets, so knowing which of your strikes will leave your foe bloodied is crucial. Sprinting at an opponent and executing a light attack will result in a long-range stab that applies a bleed effect and almost always wins jousts. Once locked onto an enemy, you can chain a forward dash into a light attack to initiate a bleeding cobra strike. Follow up with 2 more light attacks to execute the brutal poke the nest combo, which throws a flurry of blows from all 3 directions. Success with the Nobushi relies on keeping an enemy at range. If they advance within your comfort zone, simply move backwards and light attack to perform the Viper's Retreat, which will also inflict bleeding damage. Last but not least, clicking in the right stick on a controller or hitting C on a keyboard will send the Nobushi into a hidden stance, which prevents an opponent from seeing which direction you plan to attack. The samurai provide lethal power to those skilled enough to wield them, but the other 2 factions have more than their fair share of brutal combos. For a guide on the Vikings and Knights, click here or stay tuned to IGN.